Good morning, witches! Back in my studio today, looking a little bit more like myself. Alrighty, so this story just came to me, because for the past probably 3 days, there has been this gentleman who comes to the door and rings the doorbell, quite early in the morning. And the first day, both my boyfriend and I were off. So he went to answer the door, and he had been expecting, he just ordered my Xbox in the mail. So he was expecting it to be brought upstairs. And we live on the 3rd floor, okay? This is just, an insight into the tenacity of this guy. So the doorbell rings, and he goes to answer it, and we both are thinking it's his package. And I'm in the bathroom, but I have the door open. And I hear him talking to this person, and I can't really hear the other person's side of this conversation, but I hear my boyfriend's side of the conversation, and I immediately know what's going on. So, I'm not exactly sure what church this guy is from, but he comes up to the door, very well dressed, scholarly, with his glasses on, and, something along the lines of, "Have you heard the good word?" Now, my boyfriend has never had to deal with anybody that does that before. When I was a kid, they used to come to our house all the time. So, but they, I think, were, I don't remember, Presbyterians, I think. And they would come to the door all the time, and usually if Mom answered the door, she wouldn't talk to them. But if Dad answered the door, they would stay for a very long time, because he grew up Christian and then was kind of very anti-Christian later in life, but he would still talk to them. Basically talk to them more than they're able to talk to you and get them to leave because they're intimidated, I guess. Anyway, so I hear him talking, and I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna let him deal with this, because I have a very opinionated stance on religion, and if I get to talking to this guy, it probably is also going to take 6 hours. Just because of, and I hope it would be healthy argument, but it might not be. That just depends, I suppose. But my boyfriend is he's completely, very atheist. Very much so. And so kind of from the first word, he's just like, oh no, oh hell no with this shit. And so they're talking for like probably 5 minutes before I'm like, okay, this has been long enough. I'm gonna go out there and see what's going on. And as soon as I get there, the guy doesn't even acknowledge me at the door, but from what it sounded like, he was gonna say, okay, well, this is a lost cause. I guess I'm moving on. But that isn't what happened. And for the next, like I say, I think it's been 3 days, he's come to the door and ring the doorbell early in the morning. Yesterday when it happened, nobody answered the door because we knew, what was going on. We're like, it's probably this guy again. And, I'm pretty sure my boyfriend told him that I was Hellenistic polyatheist. And that he was just agnostic or atheist, depending on the day. And so I figured that was the end of it. But yesterday, nobody answered the door. And then today, I am here home alone. And I was asleep because I had taken a bunch of NyQuil, because I'm not feeling the best. But I took a bunch of NyQuil and I was asleep. And, it wasn't as early in the morning today, but then the doorbell rings and it wakes me up out of the middle of a deep sleep. Scares the crap out of me. And I'm like, oh no, it's this guy again. If I hadn't have been in the middle of sleeping, I probably would have gone up and gone out and talked to him. But I was deep asleep, and so I just waited a minute, and I'm kind of trying to wake up and process. That was the doorbell, right? And I go to the window, and we had seen his car yesterday. So I go to the window and I see him down there and he's starting his car, but there's another guy in the car with him, you know, big older guy. I'm like, oh great, he brought reinforcements, he brought the pastor, we're a lost cause, and he's really, really trying. Now, first thing, I admire his tenacity because, first off, we live on the 3rd floor. That's a lot of walking, 3 days in a row. Secondly, I don't know if he actually has a job and this is just what he does all day, every day, because that's got to be pretty hard. And also if he's not getting paid for it, I kind of admire his faith just a little bit. But, and I don't know if I've touched on this before, but I had a very close relationship with, you know, what you would call, any other religion would call God for a very long time. And when I finally was comfortable enough to start exploring with other deities, I'm like, thank you for taking me this far. No disrespect, but I'm going to do my own thing from now on. And because I treat all deities as the same way, and it's not like this, you have to speak to your deity through someone else, aka going to church, telling your preacher or whatever, I want to do this, will you put in a good word for me, pretty much. I always speak to my deities one-on-one, very interpersonal relationship there. So God, as it were, was very cool with me saying, hey, thank you, but I'm gonna go, you know, talk to some other people. You know, and since then, we haven't really, you know, had much of a conversation. I mean, a little bit here and there because, you know, I can't discredit the fact that I spent a lot of time following and or working with that particular deity. You're not just going to discredit that because a whole bunch of things happened when you were working together. And because of that, I can understand where this guy is coming from. But on the same scale, I am no longer working with said deity, and even though I want to be polite to this guy, I don't want him to keep coming up here and wasting his time trying to reconvert me, so as it were. And since I'm not working with said God, I don't have any crosses, or I do have a rosary, but that was from back when, you know, I'm not going to get rid of it. You know, I'm not getting, and the people down at the end, right after that guy came by, put a cross up on their door. I'm like, oh, this is how that works, huh? If you put up your Easter decorations, then he's just gonna be like, oh, okay, you're safe. You got the lamb's blood above the door, you're good. So I imagine he's coming back tomorrow, and if I'm not asleep, I'm probably gonna talk to him. But I don't know exactly what to say as to not hurt his feelings, but also in the same way as, please stop coming here. You know, there's more people elsewhere that could probably use it other than me. I'm not going to hell just because, you know, I talk to other deities that aren't yours. I am completely comfortable in the fact that my religion is good for me, and if your religion is good for you, go for it. You know, I'm not going to tell him that either one is worth less just because of what, you know, you're thinking. So, and in the same sense, yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. Anyway, I don't want to hurt his feelings, but I also want to tell him, please go help someone else, because I'm not going to hell, and if I am, I'm not, because, you know, anyway. He just seems to be very concerned about her well-being. And I think it was because my boyfriend straight off was like, yeah, I don't believe in God. And he's like, not at all? He's like, oh no, here's a challenge. That's probably what he's thinking, honestly. Here's a challenge. I'm going to come back tomorrow and I'm going to work real good. And yeah. So the Crusades are coming and he's bringing reinforcements. So, and from the look of the other guy, I didn't really want to talk to him. He had way too much of a grandpa feel and like a, oh no, you know. Also, on the same note, you know, there are plenty of things in my house that probably wouldn't really vibe well with the rest of it. Not just including my religion, but also I've got a gay pride flag up on the wall. You've seen it. My sexuality is complicated. So, you know, a lot of things we'd probably argue about. Anyhow, So, any suggestions for how to be nice to this guy, but also tell him, please, no, I'm good. I'm good. Please go somewhere else. Because he's very tenacious, and my boyfriend told me, he was like, I wanted to be mean to him, but I just couldn't say anything. Because he was like, he's very, very driven. I'll tell you that. Anyhow, so that's what's been happening. Just wanted to let you guys in on that. So, lots of fun there. He was like, maybe we should put up a no solicitation sign. It's like, I guess, but that's kind of like, that is kind of mean, honestly. I was like, plus that, if Girl Scouts come by, I want Girl Scout cookies, and no solicitation is kind of a blanket, don't ring my doorbell. Anyhow, okay, so I will see you guys later, and please let me know what you think about, you know, I don't want to tell him to fuck off. That'd be horrible. Okay, talk to you guys later. Mwah.